Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe eCrit presented by Tacx. We are in the pens right now with 149 minutes. Looks like there is solid 21 in the pens for the women today and rising right now. Lots and lots signed up today. I'm going to welcome to the broadcast my co-commentator today, Mr. Quentin Lefebvre. Quentin Lefebvre coming at us out of France. How's it going, Quentin? Welcome to the broadcast. Ready for some racing out on Zwift?
Hey everyone. Yeah, ready as I can be. We're back in London for some crit racing, and as we talked about in the past few weeks, the classic course with his small Trafalgar climb, and the quite a big peloton actually, with more than 160 riders right now for the men, and almost 50 for the women. So exciting riding coming to us.
Yeah, and the racing has been pretty intense, actually. I'm looking back at the results, and Kim Little still series leader, it looks like, with 5 races in, is going to be donning that yellow jersey. I'm going to see if I can find him amongst the pack here before they do take off.
He's
I am
right there in
seeing,
second line.
yeah, in the second
Second
line,
line.
second place there.
Yeah.
So Kim Little right here in the pack. Turksma, though, right behind him. It looks like, though, followed up by Storm Bay in third place in the series right now. Last week, though, did see some upsets, though, a little bit in the racing on the Volcano course. There was that early attack from Tim Cartwright, looking to try and take it down. Now, those two definitely being the favorites, I think, in the series right now, as far as taking W's, but 11th and 12th last week for Kim Little and Tim Cartwright. Vidar Mail, as well as Marcin Krizwanos, followed up by Peter Phone there. Those three taking those top 3 spots with that last second, last 200, 100 meters all out to the line. Definitely was an interesting sprint last week. I'm not sure we're going to see maybe the same mistake made twice this week.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to see that this week because the volcano sprint is very specific, and Cartwright maybe made the mistake of going very early, even earlier than you went the week before. And that cost him the win basically, because when you go at the 1 kilometer mark, you can kick over the first small ramp and then continue. And if you go before that, the peloton comes with momentum and just catches you afterwards.
Does look like the boys are taking off right now. About 3 minutes to the start of the women's race. While the guys, we'll check out the start here from the men's race here as they get out on course. About 200 racers jumping out on course. The usual cyclocross like start. Everybody looking for that front line. We'll try and work our way toward the front of the pack and see the breaks as they happen out here. We are seeing Christian Weidman here from Team Experimental assisting us to get to the front. Tim Cartwright, one of the favorites we were speaking about just a moment ago, wins almost every race he jumps into. We are seeing a Zwift employee here, actually, Tom Hargreaves, out on course as well. We'll see if he places well on the day. He was doing well in the first go at the series. We'll see if how things throw down today. He is a solid crit racer in real life as well. Heading toward the front, though, we're going to start seeing how things might break up. Now, we most likely, though, are going to have a group of, I would say, 50 to 60 riders that do make it over that initial climb into the square. Now, Kim Little, the series leader, though, donning that yellow jersey in the game here. Sitting in currently about 12th place, not going to lose the front end of this pack. V Mail there, the winner, I believe, last week it was, with that solid sprint to the line, now sitting right next to him, though. So going to be really interesting to see how things play out and see if we have a similar situation to last week. Now, like you were saying, though, it was a very specific sprint, though, out on course for the for the volcano sprint, and this one maybe a little bit more straightforward, although it is kind of a jump to the line. A lot of times you have to go a little bit early on the on this crit course a lot of times in order to find the right wheel and then have a second kick. Even it's a little similar in that, at least, that on Zwift racing a lot of times it's all about that second kick to the line. Now Quentin, right real quick, let's go ahead and have a little chat as the women do take off from the pens here. We're seeing, it looks like 37 at the start line. 50 did sign up or so. Last week, we saw the likes of Rachel Elliott walk away with it like she usually does. Patricia Angerman with second place, Z Kreider in third, which was a solid result for her. Are we seeing Rachel out there today, though?
No,
Amongst
I
the
think
pack?
she's working this week. I saw some posts on Facebook, and I think Rachel is working this week, so we might not see her today.
Okay, so a little bit of an opening up there, Quentin, it looks like. And Z is definitely out there.
Exactly.
Carrie Conabear is out there, though. So definitely going to be a few points up for grabs today.
Yeah, definitely a few points up for grabs, and we can see already two women, I think, going up the front. And it would be, yeah, kind of interesting to see if I was right and if Rachel, yeah, exactly. Casey and Angerman there trying to go for the early break, right along with Fred 76 from TFC. So it's going to be interesting to see, because if there is a small break with, well, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, but it looks like some women are looking into making some breaks here, and it could be, well, interesting to see if something can get out of the main group.
So Kate Pole here coming out of Germany now with Cassie right on the wheel. Kate Faulkner as well. Zeke Ryder. Now we are seeing, it looks like Angerman. All of the top tier riders amongst the women's field here definitely letting themselves be known at the front immediately. Maybe just securing that position in the group, though, making sure they're not getting dropped off. We have seen in the past a few get caught out and unable to make that lead group. We are seeing already the group start to break apart. We are seeing Salovich here right along with Reed there. Gray now just hanging on 183 beats per minute, needs to make this juncture to the wheels now right now if she's going to be hanging out. Looks like here Kay Gray there as well from the KRT team. KRT showing up in four sets for sure. This is about 20 women up toward the front of this race right now, but it looks like the split is starting to take place. Fred 76 now just 162 beats per minute out of France now, trying to grab that wheel, but it is 7 meters, and if it is outside of 5 meters, there is no draft. So it looks like about 15 going to be making this front group, unless Fred's got a little bit of a kick through this next section to get back on terms. Now the men now heading into the crit course proper now. We are seeing Kim Little up toward the front now with Stephen Fleetwood now. A little bit of attack here, though. Up toward the front looks like, we'll see if we can find the front end of this pack now and get to where this attack is taking place. And we are seeing Kim up to the front, 4.7 watts per kilogram. One love here with Adam Webb. Cartwright now, though. You think he's going to play that same card? Last time we saw him racing, it was non-stop attacks over and over and over again. We're just going to play it a little calmer this time around. He did. Now we are seeing again. Here we go. 9 watts per kilogram. Not playing around. Using the corner here in order to take speed through. Kim immediately responding, as we can see. 700 watts here coming from Cartwright. 153 beats per minute here coming from Kim. It looks like he's in a perfect position to go right along with him. He's been following the front end of this race, though, not wanting this to go get away. I had a feeling there might have been either pre-race conversation, say, hey, maybe we'll give it a go off the front together, get away, or perhaps he was anticipating that Cartwright was not going to be playing games again this time around.
I think what happened last week is that Cartwright was attacking over and over again, and Kim was just sitting in the pack. And at the end, he felt maybe a little bit forced by the rest of the peloton to go after him in the early final sprint, and that's what may have cost him quite a lot of points. And I don't think he wants that to happen again today. And well, Cartwright, as strong as he is, he's going to keep attacking right now, and I'm not sure what's going on because Mel was going alone, and Cartwright just brought him back to him. So that's still a little bit weird. Like we remember last week as well, the KRT team car must have been firing some shouts. But now they have two guys up front with the leader, but the three might not be enough to hold off the peloton that right behind them now.
There is plenty of firepower in that pack, that's for sure. And it does look like they were able to catch them very quickly. And that looked like almost this attack took place, and suddenly there was a realization that there are 60 other men in this race looking for that W as well. And this is not it's not like this is a race where these are they are standout racers, Kim Little and Tim Cartwright, to the point that they can take a climb, they can take a sprint at the end, at the pointy end of the race, when things really start getting into the pressure cooker starts coming on and everyone starts dropping off at those moments when all the matches have been burned. But we're not at that point, and there are definitely plenty of other riders outside of just Team Experimental and KRT, and plenty of other teams that have shown up today. We are seeing Team Poland out there for Trudzinski is out there for sure. Be watching out for him. Krzwanos, who took second place last week as well. Be watching out for him. Very strong riders coming from Team Poland. We are seeing Soren Bay in there as well. Now we are seeing a drafting power up dome being thrown down by a KRT rider. Zach Tim again off the front, and there he goes. 14 watts per kilogram. Not going to stop kicking, it looks like here. Now dropping down to 1.7. It looks like he was just getting the speed up. Grabs 5 seconds immediately around the corner. He's being very intelligent about these attacks. Now, Quentin, can you talk a little bit maybe about what takes place around these corners? It's almost like real crit racing in real life, because he can use that as an advantage.
It's exactly like real life, because at the corner, you obviously, when you're in a group, you slow down to take the corner. And well, that happened in Zwift as well. And something that happened in Zwift and doesn't happen in real life is that you don't feel that obligation to put out more watts to hold on to the wheel before you. And the ones who do, they tend to gain much more speed as they would, because they put out more watts. And that's when you can make a difference. That's when people don't push the watts out of the corner, and when you do, you tend to create some gaps. And when you can put out 1,000 watts at will, almost like Tim can, you can create some interesting gaps. Now, alone against 50 riders with not much to go, I think that's just his workout. Like he's just testing people, see who's got the legs, who's calm as well, like who's calm enough to let things go, let things develop, and see how it goes. Because there's a lot of very good riders in that pack. I mean, there's Mel, there's Kim Little, there's the Team Poland riders, Trudzinski and Trzynski. There's Kalen, his teammate as well. We see Michael Durr from BRT, who's a very good TT specialist as well. And I'm seeing guys like Whiteley from BRT, and Cody as well, formerly known as Le Monstre. So
Well, is 40 actually in the group today?
Yeah, 40 is in the group, and
that is
it,
that's something to watch out for.
Exactly. And I saw Adam Webb as well. I think I saw him. Well, I saw him on screen, and there's a lot of firepower. I mean, we see Gavin Richardson as well as Chris Vonos, who won a couple of sprints, and that tells you that this group is going to go fast, and you pretty much can't do anything alone against that kind of peloton.
Yeah, we are seeing arrow powers being thrown down left and right here. Teselius is out here as well. I'll be watching out for him coming out of Sweden right now. Back, it looks like, for a week of racing. Now up toward the front here, we are seeing the BRT rider here. Whiteley now countering some attacks up through Whitehall into the square now, as we are seeing Whiteley there, 3.9 watts per kilogram. And Cartwright caught now by, it looks like, Team Poland with, it is Truzinski here at the front now, 5.3 watts per kilogram. Now this chase, though, might be the motivation for these riders to try and get away and cause some sort of a break now at this point. But now looking down at the pack here, nothing splitting up just yet. We are seeing a little bit of a break at the back there. A couple of riders maybe just finding themselves off the back a little bit, but nothing really to worry about, it looks like, at this point. I would believe that Cartwright's going to sit in for a little bit here, not see too many more attacks here from him, but he's definitely been animating this race. Jay Haggerty now from the KRT team now making the front fast as possible, as it looks like Sinclair is there as well. Kim Little now pulling on through, and it looks like Little, though, just going to close it right on down, 3.7 watts per kilogram. Now, we do have our social media integration over at Zwift's Facebook right now. You can interact with the broadcast. If you have any questions, comments you would like to bring on in, you can do so simply by tweeting at Z Community Live, or by just commenting over at the Facebook post. These are the ways that you can interact with the broadcast. We are seeing Anna Odebrov out there. Good to see you in the broadcast. Says, go Team PTZ, a fellow racer from Team PTZ out there. You can comment over at Twitch as well. We are watching the Twitch feed as well as we are on YouTube and obviously Zwift's Facebook. You can also send photos or comments on questions over at Twitter by tweeting at Z Community Live, or over on Instagram also at Z Community Live. We'd love to have all of your interaction with the broadcast, and we'll answer any questions or comments. We also love to do our late race predictions, so make sure to stick around for that. Let us know who you think is going to win, and we'll make sure to get those predictions into the broadcast as well. So looks like the women's race, though, has had a split, though, at this point, Quentin. The three off the front, and it looks like a repeat from a few weeks ago here, though. Cassie along with Ingerman, and it looks like Kay Falk off the front here, but there's a solid chase still, and it's up into 4 watts per kilogram. So this attack is still, and this group, a breakaway group, is still forming itself, because Pole along with Kreider here still giving a solid effort. I saw 6 watts per kilogram for a moment. Their carry is in there as well. I'm not sure they're going to let them go easily.
Yeah, it's very split at this point in time, because the first trio is kind of going away, and the pack is separated into two groups. The second is coming back just now, but it's going to be interesting to see how they play around each other, because there's a couple of PTZ rider, there's also Vixen and KRT. And there's also one Vision rider in that peloton. So the thing is, in the peloton, when you have riders who have teammates up front, you're kind of torn between the fact that you want to come back and the other fact that you don't want to bring back teammates of the ones that are already in front. So they have to to gain enough momentum to come back to that trio, but in the meantime to watch out for their teammates in the group.
We are seeing some pretty serious attacks here, though, coming from Cassie as well as Engelman here. Now, it was up into that 6 watts per kilogram for a moment. There's out the 15-second Z Kreider here, who I believe took a solid third place. It was in the last race, actually. It was in a sprint, actually, with Patricia Engelman, actually. And it looks like they are off the front here still together here. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. Z actually is chasing at this point, but it is only 9 seconds that I can see between them. And so we are having a couple of bounce arounds here, though, as we try and stick with the front end of this group here. Ludendorff there, though, we are seeing along with Pole and Kreider now making that chase. But it is about 23 seconds. KRT, though, it looks like super motivated on the front end of this group. And do they have one in the break? I think that may
No,
be
they
why we
don't,
see them
and
making a
that's why
chase.
they have to. They have to make the chase. There are 3 or 4 of them in the main group, and they have none in the lead. So they have to make the chase. They have to give the impulse to the peloton. And I mean, with 3 riders, you can actually make a very good chase. Like 2 riders, it's complicated because you have to take a lot of turns, and with the Zwift dynamics, it's very difficult to get the group going with only 2 people. But when you have 3 riders, it's much easier, and the chase is much faster as well.
Yeah, and as you can see here, we do see Pole right along with Kreider here up toward the front again. And it looks like Kreider now starting to work together with that KRT team. She's going to be very happy to have them there motivated to do some work. I have a feeling that the Vision Rider there, though, Keho is going to be sitting in a little bit more, though, not making the chase because it is 23 seconds up to her teammate Falk there. So Cassie, though, Angerman and Falk off the front still. 3 riders here holding a solid 4.5 on the front there. 4 watts per kilogram, it looks like, is the tempo they will be setting at the front of this group before the gloves come off and they start making the attacks after each other. I think they'll stick together for quite a few laps, though. It probably won't be until the last 2 laps out on course when they actually start making those attacks take place. Now back into the hall, though, as this is the attack point out on course. Now we are seeing actually a solid gap at this point, and if they're gonna break things off at any moment, this is going to be it. Cartwright able to take the attack with 40 on his wheel. Smith is there as well, as you can see. Tiselli is trying to close it down. MD is there. I'm not seeing the series Little Kim Little amongst them, though, here. And if they're going to split this group, it's going to be during an effort like this, on that uphill, where the weight matters, where the watt per kilogram really, really does matter, and they can throw down as much as they can to try and break this pack, put people into the red, and have continuance. Now, we are seeing Trzynski here using that arrow power up at the perfect time when everybody wants to let up. You attack over the climb, and then it's all about a second attack, though, whether or not you can really break the pack apart after you have that little bit of of spacing between you and the other riders trying to grab those wheels. It looks like, though, it's not going anywhere. Like you were saying earlier, there's so much talent. There's so much talent in this group. Some of the riders we've been seeing for such a long time. Cartwright, I think, with over almost, I think he's pushing 300 races actually out on Zwift. Let's go ahead and double check this real quick. Excuse me, 203 races. 200 races. Just pushed over 200 races out on Zwift. And we've seen a lot of W's under his name here. So as well as Kim Little out there. I think he may be the one pushing 300 races, though, out on Zwift here, along with, like we were saying earlier, so many riders, though, out here that can just throw down huge waters to close this down. On a crit course like this, you know, they might have some very differing FTPs by up to 1 watt per kilogram. Some riders I think in here can hold up to 5.5 even, or maybe even a little more watts per kilogram, and then down to maybe 4.0. But that doesn't mean they don't have a sprint. They can upset on a crit course by holding those wheels on this course.
Exactly. On that kind of course, the FTP almost doesn't matter. Like, you can even on this race, you can pretty much win with 4.1, 4.2, maybe around 4 if you just know how to draft well, and if you do that all race and you just show up at the right moment in the sprint, if you time it well, if you do basically the perfect race, the perfect sprinter race, because, well, it's not to the likings of everyone, but I mean, nobody likes sprinters. But you know, if you do the perfect sprinter race, you can win a huge race like this with a 4.1 watts per kilogram average, and it all comes down to that final sprint. If you can hold on to the effort that the front guys are putting out at the last Trafalgar climb, all the way to the 1 kilometer mark, and then timing your sprint in the last 500, and it basically comes down to that. And if you're able to hold on and keep something under your pedal along the way.
We are seeing a couple more attacks here, actually, from a few other riders. You know, Cartwright has been the main instigator, but now some counters starting to take place here. Making our way forward, we can see that it is going to be Bishop going off the front from AMAC, along with the rider out of Hungary there. It looks like Sivajardo, along with the instigator, I do believe was Holt, along with Blaney here at 171 beats per minute right now. So we'll go give him a ride on, as they do have a 3-second gap. Now, this is interesting. There isn't as strong as a response to this attack. Maybe not thinking it's of the same caliber of attack there of a Cartwright or some others, but Bishop here given a pretty good leash to go here, Foley hanging on, and it looks like Bruno Vieira here is going to be the one though to close it down, along with Szczynski here. Just steps up the tempo a little bit, 5.3 watts per kilogram, as you can see here. Szczynski seems to be the workhorse today for Team Poland. Anytime anything goes up the road, immediately we see him at the front end of this pack and starting to pull things right back in. You think perhaps he's playing the domestique for the other riders from Team Poland there, Quentin?
I would think so. I mean, from the Team Poland, we know Trusinski and Chris Vonos are the two main sprinters, but we also know that Piotr that we have on screen right now is a very good rider, and when you need someone to take big pulls at the front of the peloton, you're always pretty happy to have a teammate like that with that kind of power. Like he has, and I think it might be in a domestic role, like you said today, but I would be interested to see if he actually plays this card later in the race. In some kind of breakaway, because the one we saw just now could have been very dangerous, because 5 riders up front, if they can work together, they can gain speed and threaten a little bit the peloton if nobody responds to that kind of attack.
Yeah, those are the dangerous attacks. I think some of the dark horses out there, we all know who to follow for the favorites out there today. Now, we are seeing Da Costa here from TKBE now going, as you can see, out of Belgium. That is one of the oldest standing teams out on Zwift, actually, TKBE, the Belgian team here. And it looks like Da Costa now trying to get away, 5 watts per kilogram, not going to be going anywhere. Loosening up the legs a little bit before they hit the climb. This is the moment, though, every time around on this course that they have seen huge attacks. We're seeing Vanna now making the way to the front here. Haggerty is there as well. Dempster, Mitchell, it looks like. Gannon now, and now Will B. Sinclair with the orange numbers now from that KRT racing team. Looking over his shoulder. There's the pack. Everybody up and out of the south. 675 watts now, as you can see. Teselius now out of Sweden, now kicking again, as we can see, in 8 watts per kilogram. Now Kim Little, though, coming to the front there, right along with Cartwright. They're looking to snap their elastic. Every single lap here they have tried and been unable to do so. Will this be the moment, though, of truth for the rest of the pack here? 12 watts per kilogram. Solid effort there. 9 seconds I'm seeing. Nope, it's only out to 1, actually. Szczynski now, and Szczynski here starting to chase this down, it looks like. I think it's actually Szczynski able to go along with it here. And now it will be Whiteley at the front, along with Teselius, Vanna, 40 there as well. 40 actually races with these guys in real life a little bit here and there. And if 40 is in this chase, I'm not sure those boys are going anywhere up front though, but it is 2 seconds now. Cartwright and Little continue to try and get away. They took 11th, I think it was 10th and 11th though last week with similar efforts like this. Will they time it correctly? Will they be able to get away and stay away from this group, or will they be caught out in the sprint again because of too many matches burned? They do not want to sprint, I do not think. I think they want to get away and make this a race for first and second place off the front here, but they're unable to break this pack. Bishop chasing this right on down, 4.2 watts per kilogram. Szczynski is there, Haggard is there, Bishop is there. We are seeing Bakalov all at the front. Trixmom, I'm not sure I've seen him out there today. Second place overall, 5 races in the events. Have you seen Burtis out there at all today, Quentin? Because I'm not seeing him in amongst these attacks here.
I haven't seen him, and I was going to. No. He might not be there. But another thing that's I won't say odd, but that should shock you right now. If you look at the upper screen on the left for Kim, just right now, if you can tell me what jumps at your eye.
Yeah. So for some reason, we are seeing no heart rate monitor coming from Kim Little. Now, Kim Little, very experienced racer, been around for a very, very long time. We have Zada approval around him. I'd be really surprised if they're, with a Zada badge, we have had, so one time, here's the thing, this is from personal experience. I was in a KISS race, I was in the KISS 100 race. I have a Zada badge, I've been verified, the whole deal. Let's get in with the women's races while the track stands take place. We're currently doing trials competition. It looks like here you can see the shadow of Kim Little, just kind of doing some track stands here.
No, he's just standing pinguino here.
Yeah, I think he's going to take the W right now in the trials competition, but we're going to get back in with the women here for just a moment now. Engelman here, 4.2 watts per kilogram right along with Cassie, and then Kay Falcare, as you can see, off the front still. And it looks like they were able to hold on to 35 seconds. Now, this has been a slowly growing gap here at this point, though. It hasn't gone full on unattainable to bring it back here, but now we've seen Falk out of the corner actually making an attack here. Vision cycling with that arrow power up. This is a serious move actually. We caught up with these ladies at the perfect moment, because at that 10 watts per kilogram from Angerman to try and get back on terms with her, as you can see here, with her own arrow power-up, actually. These 2 power-ups, actually, putting Cassie off the back here, 174 beats per minute. She's going to have to put her head down and huge power to chase this back down, but now we are seeing Angerman Falk off the front now, and Angerman might go right on by with that arrow power-up now. We are seeing 31 miles per hour now, 30 miles per hour here coming from Angerman. It looks like Falk's going to get on terms, going to be 2 off the front. They start working together. This is going to be a race for first and second place, it looks like, unless Cassie's got some big wattage to give here. And we saw that attack out of the corner, just like in real life, the same kind of situation. The slow down in the corner and speed up out, get that gap and hold it. One of the only ways you can really make anything happen. 3 different places really out on this course. The climb and those 2 corners, really, you can see those things happening.
Exactly, and you see how fast they went, because Casey is now 10 seconds back, but the peloton lost 20 seconds with that attack. They are now more than a minute away. And yeah, that's almost 30 seconds, because they were 35, 40 when we came back to them. And now it's over a minute. So they went pretty hard on that attack, and well, Casey is gonna have got to do quite a big effort to try to come back, because it's a very uncomfortable position that she's in right now.
Cassie, I'd be thinking about the chase group as well at this point, out in no woman's land, just completely solo, TT, having to hold off a hard chasing group that's going to be very motivated to be bringing back that spot, because every point is going to matter for this final. Actually, this is a battle for points for the final live event. Actually, for those of you who might not know the E-Crit and what it's all about here, there is a live final at the end of this series that they will be invited to, actually, for the men's and the women's overall, actually, the top 10 men and women from the European eCrit, actually, printed by Tacx, will be invited to that live event in the final. It's going to be, I believe it is in March sometime to be determined. So this spot, though, that Cassie's hanging on to, there's a pack of hungry wolves here chasing them down now chasing her down at this point. Only 11 seconds out. Angerman now making another attack, as you can see here. 5.9 watts per kilogram, as you can see. And so Falk's going to have her work cut out for him to hang on to this wheel now, as you can see. 5.4 now. There is a gap now. 1 second is the difference. Looks like Patricia here looking for that top spot and those points to secure 20 points on the day. With one of those podium spots opened up with Rachel Elliott not in attendance here. We'll see if she can hang on, though, as Falk now turns the screws a little bit, gets back on terms. Now we got two on the front again. Back in with the men's racing, though. They are making the attacks up and over the top of the climb here. As you can see, again, it is going to be Teselius now up toward the front here with, it looks like, Cartwright attacking again. Definitely the rider who is animating this race here. We're going to go back to 6th place, so it looks like maybe we can keep Cartwright out on course here. 10 watts per kilogram coming from him currently. We'll give him a ride on. And that was an odd turn there for a moment. Did he just turn right? Did his avatar?
Yeah, the avatar turned and then came back on the right track.
Okay, I was like, where's he going? Where's Cartwright going? He's going right. Don't go right here. And now there is Cartwright back at the front of the race. It looks like he's off the front now. 2.3 watts per kilogram. Plainly, I was like, where is he going? This is the wrong way. Stay on course. Stay on course. Keep it solid here. It looks like he is going the right way now at this point here. And 32K is the total on the day today. 1 lap to go. 1 lap to go out here today, I believe, with 32 kilometers total. And they had 2 seconds, but not going anywhere, it looks like still. Now a counter here coming from 46.4 watts per kilogram. This is the perfect time to go, it looks like here, actually. And Cartwright here now trying to follow now as 40 and Cartwright get together off the front. These are two TT specialists. Be watching all four. They got big power to give. 5.9 watts per kilogram here coming from 40 here. 166 beats per minute. Cartwright now hanging on the wheel. We are seeing Phillips here trying to go along with it. And this is interesting, Quentin, as the attacks are heating up back and forth here. Cartwright here, 6.7 watts per kilogram now, trying to break things apart. Billings is right here, though, 4.3. Nothing coming from them, not too much coming from them to close this down. I think they're just trusting that it's not going to go anywhere. But throughout the front, with a lot of firepower, Cartwright now shutting it down, though, it looks like. 40 as well now, making his way to the front, though. Maybe that's what they're just working together, actually. They're looking for about 5.5 on the front. And again, Szerzynski now playing the domestique. We have seen him on the front every single time trying to set up Team Poland. If it gets away, they send Szerzynski to the front and they just set the tempo and bring it back together. And I bet you KRT has got a little bit of sideways looks like, come on, Poland, what are you doing? Quit trying to bring this back in. But they are playing a smart race here, keeping Szerzynski and Kurzwanos very safe, both with some solid points in the overall so far, Quentin.
Yeah, it's it's an interesting time that we are coming into, because it's the last 5 kilometers, and a lot of these guys are starting to think, I can do 5 kilometers on my own in front of the peloton. And if they are thinking, if I can get a couple of guys with me, there's a chance that that might go somewhere, because 5 kilometers isn't impressive in itself, and most of the time the riders are thinking in terms of minutes. And if you say, yeah, I can hold that much for 10 minutes at this point, or even less, so they are starting to think about breaking away, because they know about the other sprinters. And that's when you make the difference between the calm sprinters and the strong guys that aren't that are, well, not so calm in the final, and that don't trust their sprint 100%.
Let the jitters get to them and say, okay, can I handle this? Now, Cartwright going from a half a lap out. Here's what you're talking about. Can I handle it for 5K to the finish line? This is everything on the table, though. Ace is up the sleeve. He has to continue if he's going to be able to hold on to this gap. We saw him get the gap. It's 7 seconds now, but he's going to have to throw down 6 watts per kilogram to the finish line. This guy, man, so brave, so brave. I mean, seriously, not even caring whatsoever. Going for it, throwing caution to the wind over and over again. We're getting predictions here from a few in the chat here saying from 1 kilometer out, Cartwright's going to go. We'll see if he can make that happen because he's going from about 3 kilometers to go here. And we're getting some predictions here coming from the chat here. We are seeing Janice Stenning saying, go Kristen, go Kirsty from Vision Cycling, actually. Let's hear your predictions as they come in. We're going to go through our social media integration real quickly here as we do have a lot of comments actually coming on in here. And Giannis, thanks a lot for your comment there. Cheering on Kristen and Kirsty there. We're seeing Go Carrie there from Lou Lana there for the Vixen team, liking the Vixen Mohawk out there as well. We're Des Mooney. This is the last lap. Thank you so much for your question. Go Carrie coming from Angela Webster there. Dig in Falk. Matt Rose saying, and Matt is asking, good to see you in the broadcast here, Matt. He's asking, do you think it'll be a solo winner or a group sprint? I don't know. I think it's going to be a group sprint. If we look at how things have played out usually out on this course, it's usually a group sprint. Cartwright's trying to prove us round. If anybody can, it would be this guy, but he's only got 1 second over the rider from Hungary. And this is an early aero power-up. Another rider, like you're saying, Quentin, maybe getting a little bit anxious at this point, not trusting the sprint. Closes it down with that aero power-up, but he's not going to have another one. And it's about the aero power-up in the sprint, Quentin.
Yeah, it's well, it's an upset. I was expecting Cartwright to walk away with this one. Honestly, I was just expecting him to go and crush the Trafalgar climb. But now it's just right in front of the peloton, and it's going to be hard for him to recover from that kind of effort because he went deep. And well, now we have Svigato in front, and the KRT team all over the front of the peloton with Senke, Regati, and Kalen, and Male as well. So 4 KRT rider for the Kiss Christ series. It's kind of fitting, and it's going to, well, I wouldn't be surprised if Mel would give us one of his monstrous sprints that he has a secret of. And
you know, he seems to have perfect timing, actually. I'd be watching out for Mail, looking to try and take over that top spot in the series, perhaps. I'm not sure he can this week. I'll have to double check some of the points here as we come into the finish line. Current standings in the points before we get into this last kilometer. Kim Little, followed by Bertus Turksma, Soren Bay, Gavin Dempster, Whitley is in there as well. Peter Fohn, Adrian Timmis, Tim Cartwright, Freight Balkalov, Tobias Mueller, Marcin Chris Walnus, Jurns Templar's in there as well, Matthew Drujon, Guy DeCoster, Tom Hargreaves, Sebastian Sternfalk, all within that top 16 or so. Watch out for each one of those riders in there. They're going to be super motivated to be trying to take this sprint to the line. The question is, though, will they be able to do so up against the likes of KRT as they are at the front end of this group trying to set up a rider here? I believe it will be Mail that they're going to be trying to set up. Now, V-Mail, though, not with too many. Only 2 races, 24 points. He's got to make every one count to the last here if he's going to be taking the any of these top spots in the top 10, actually. But he is showing himself to be a force to be reckoned with, the mountain biker out of Norway. Watch out for him here. Kalen, now also a mountain biker here, coming out of Norway here, making his way to the front end of this pack. Now T. Kalen here, the endurance specialist, maybe playing the domestique now with a very, very early aero power up going from way out. Kim Little now trying to follow up here, as you can see here, but it's going to be Bishop now. Bishop with a second over the rest of the group now, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold this off. Here comes the pack, full on V-Mail style at the front. do it without that arrow pop. It's going to be a late arrow pop. I'm not sure. But here goes Chris Wonos. Now, Chris Wonos off the front. Chris Wonos with, it looks like the easy race. I'm not sure. 12 watts per kilogram. He fades though. No, he gets nipped at the line. I think the coaster. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure. We're going to have to look at the replay. What happened there? Was that the coaster? Guy the coaster, perhaps.
I would say the coaster, Chris Bonos, and Little in third. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think we have to
what
check
a sprint.
the replay right now.
Here we go. So to the line, we saw it off the front there. It was male there for just a second, but no, Krzwonos comes flying right on by, as you can see here. And then Bishop with that early attack, as we same situation as Cartwright last week, unable to hold on to it, and it looks like coming to the line here, it is going to be Krzwonos hanging on, but then suddenly just stops pedaling. There was nothing left in the legs. The coaster right at the line, I think, but that was so close. Oh my goodness, it was so close. I'm not positive. Let's go ahead and go back here real quickly and see if we can catch it. Right, there it is, right at the line. I think the coaster nipped it. It looks like there was one rider with a wheel in the way on a TT bike, but what an effort there. It was between the coaster and Krzwonos there at the line. Guy, I haven't seen him with a solid result like that in a while, actually. What a sprint.
Yeah, what a sprint. And, well, Zwift Power is actually saying the coaster, Chris Vonos in second and Little in third.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, the last time he raced was, yeah, 13th place on Tuesday. He placed 13 on Tuesday, and he won... he took a second place on the WBR and another win. Fondo. It's been riding quite a lot lately, and he put out 5 watts per kilograms on the last Fondo on December 31st.
Flying. So, I'm seeing that for 5 minutes there. Yeah. That's yeah. Huge efforts there. Now I'm seeing 4.7 on the day today here. Solid effort there from Guy. And I know he's actually a solid sprinter. I've seen some real life sprints actually from him. The TKBE guys actually sent over, I believe, some footage at one time. So he's got a sprint. He's got a sprint as he just showed us there, and he timed it perfectly there, actually, right to the line. So solid effort all around. Let's go ahead and see some of the reaction here from the comments as there's coming in. We'll get in with the women's races. They're about to finish up their final laps here in just a moment here. But some of the reactions here. Do it, Tim from Allenby. Allenby was looking for David Allenby. Good to see you in the broadcast here. He was looking for the win for Tim, the two TT specialists out there. Tim tried to go. Didn't make it happen. Antonio Nascimento, good to see Nascimento go. Bruno Vieira, cheering him on out there. What place is Bruno? Bruno ended up, it looks like, 17th place, so he's going to grab some points. All the top 20 get points. It looks like he was able to grab a solid, I think, 3 or 4 points out there today. Sagan style, Nascimento is also saying out there as well. I'll be saying, being ever so slightly famous for the arrow hat myself, even I think it's got to be time for a good old net F-bat. I'm not sure what he's talking about there, but nice to see spectator mode working for you today. Thanks a lot, Luke Peterson. We've only had a couple of track stands out there today. It's always good to see somebody trying to work on their trials, though, in the races, showing off their amazing ability. Matt Sinclair coming through saying, well done to the KRT team as well. So, great job to TKBE, Team Poland, and Team Experimental, though. Top 3 spots out there today, Quentin, going to them in the men's race. But we still have a women's race heating up here, and it hasn't broken apart, actually. We're in the final here, and it looks like Falk right along with Angerman still out the front, but Cassie staying strong. 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Casey is putting out a monstrous effort to stay right behind the two leaders, and it looks like the two leaders are looking a little bit at each other, and they might be in the last lap. I'm not quite sure in miles what it looks like. Maybe they still have one more to go after this one. I would expect, but I mean the peloton is still 1 minute behind, and holding off a group of 10 ish when you're only two at the front. That's pretty impressive in itself. And well, we are going to see in that climb if Angerman is trying to go alone for the last lap, or if she's going to, well, or if Falk is going to go along and maybe try to beat her in the sprint, or even go alone. I mean, we saw Falk a little bit on the back foot at the previous lap. But that doesn't mean that Angerman is stronger. That might just have been some kind of bluff, or I mean, it happens as well. So I mean, anything is pretty much anything is possible at the last lap. We could even see Casey coming back.
Well, they only have now it's 12 seconds. They're at 19 miles right now. I believe they're on their final right here. Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is the final lap. This is the final lap right here. They're making their last time through the hall here now. Cassie's going to have to give everything she's got. And with the attacks taking place here, we are seeing Falk now 6.6 watts per kilogram. But Angerman here, 12 watts per kilogram. She has got a kick with that feather power up, but no arrow power up. Did we see Falk just use a power up as well just a moment ago?
She used the feather as well.
So 2 feathers thrown down out on a course now at this point. Angerman with a little bit of a gap now. Falk having to throw down and close 3 seconds. I think Patricia might have the gap on her that she's been looking for, but she's going to have the continuance now. 6.4 watts per kilogram, 181 beats per minute. Absolutely ruining herself to try and stay away and grab this top spot, grab some points here. Now looking at the overalls for the women's, we are seeing Rachel Elliott currently your series leader. So we're not seeing the yellow jersey out there today in game. But Z Kreider was second place, and she is in that chase group last time we checked. Not sure she's been dropped off, though. That chase group is in all kinds of mayhem, actually. It's only 43 seconds back, actually, and that's really something to be watching out for here. We've got 6 seconds for the win here with Falk over Falcon, but now we are seeing lap rider Stedman out here, but Cassie here, 4.2 watts per kilogram, trying to bring that back. Kay Jen is there now with, it looks like, Hole as well as Lundorf, Anklitz, and it will be Ollendorf as well, but we are not seeing Z, though. There's Z, actually, excuse me. Z is out there, coming out of Switzerland, trying to close that down, so she is still looking to secure that second place spot. I'm looking through Ed Lundorf, though, sitting in 4th place, Fred 76 in 3rd, all of them here in this chase group, actually. So it's going to be, now is Fred out there though? Did Fred get dropped off? Actually, I'm not seeing Fred 76 in the group.
I think she's been dropped off. Yeah, she doesn't look like she's in that main chase. But yeah, I think Angerman is quite close to the.
She has walked away
now.
182 beats per minute coming from Patricia here. This is a crazy effort.
Yeah, totally. Like it was a possibility, and I think well, she didn't want to come down to a sprint one-on-one with Falk, and that's how much these riders fear but also respect one another. They know how strong each one is, and well, if they have an opportunity to go away, they will try it, because they know in a one-on-one sprint anything can happen pretty much.
So this is your winner on the day here. Patricia Angerman takes the W over Falk here now, as you can see. Now Falk will be taking down that second place, and not too concerned, it looks like, about the chase pack at this point. But Cassie Baldy here is going to have to be thinking about the sprint behind, but it's not going to be going anywhere. It does look like is that 14 seconds between her and Sedman. So that will be first, second, and third on the day, but we still have a sprint effort to be taking place here, as we do see Vanderbridge here coming out of the Netherlands. But here comes Kreider Your second overall right now with an arrow power up, and it looks like Kreider is going to be walking away with this one right here as she throws down that arrow power up and gets that 4th place on the day. Solid effort there coming from Z as she crosses the line. Pole here now making her way across the line, followed up by Angmo and then Kirsty Hole. Solid effort all around there from those riders. Oh, sorry about that. We were meaning to get the replay for the women's in there. We'll get the women's in there in just a second. Wrong button. And you can end up with the completely wrong replay out on. We'll just leave the replays low for now on the second feed there. But solid effort there coming from all of the women out there. And it looks like the points might be changing up a little bit, though, here. Looking through, Z did take a solid, it looked like 4th place. But we did see Cassie Baldy with that 3rd place. That's going to give her a solid 17 points. It's going to bump her up quite a bit. Now, everybody's fairly matched up, though, in the top 10. We're seeing from even top 12. Kristen Falk, who took 2nd place on the day, is currently second place, or 12th place overall. Quickly moving her way up the ranks, actually. She's going to jump by 19 points and move most likely into the top 10 or so. So a lot of riders moving around in the overalls right now. Now, Rachel Elliott has 100 points. She cannot, that cannot be touched at this point in the overall in the series. Z is going to be grabbing, it looks like a solid, though, I believe it is that going to be 17 points?
17 points.
16 points.
Yeah.
16 points? 20,
17.
19. So 17 points. So she's going to be jumping into, looks like, almost almost into the 90 range.
Yeah, she will be at 85. But
yeah, so she'll be holding on to that 2nd place.
One new thing. Yeah, she's holding on to the 2nd place. And one new thing I actually added on Zwift Power lately is that last column, the rank column in the rankings, that shows in average how many points riders have scored per race, and that's interesting to see the trend of a rider, even if they did a little bit less races than the other ones. You can see the trend that they're on and how many points they score on average per race. And
is that what the rank is? That's what the rank is there?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that with 5 races and 100 points, Rachel scores 20 points per race. And if you take Fred 76, with 4 races, she scores on average 16.3 race points, which means she took 3 4th place and 1 3rd, I think. Or, well, she took a 3rd and then 4th and 5th place. And it goes like this. You have the average, and I think Kristen Falk, with 2 races before this one, took a 3rd place, which is 18 points, and a 4th place, which is 17. So that's 17 and a half for her on average. So you can pretty much know how the rankings are going to evolve from one race to another.
This is a very cool ranking system, actually, I'm seeing here for the series. And if you head on over to zwiftpower.com, it's where all the results are stored for this racing series. And I'll see if we can get permission to show some of these results actually up on screen at some point. But on the right-hand side, there is a ranking that Quentin is speaking about, and it actually shows what their average is. And when you look through here, you can see the current placing, but you can also see who to watch out for. As I look through here, Patricia, solid 19.3 on average for the races that she enters here. Kristen, like you're saying, 19. Cassie, 18. We are seeing, excuse me, not Cassie, Cassie 17.7. Fred, 76 there with 16.3. So the top 10, though, here are the predictions almost about who we're going to see in the final is what we're kind of looking at there, as they do average out correctly. But at the same time, I mean, we're seeing riders here We're all the way back in 15th place overall right now. 17th overall for Hannah Wood there we are seeing. Kirsty Holt there as well, sitting in 27th overall, but still on the edge of that top 10 for how they rank in whatever races they do jump into. So very cool addition there. Now, the current overalls have been updated. James, on top of it, man. Nice job. Yeah, very quickly.
That's so pretty Rachel fast work.
That was super fast. So they are updated. We got the results. I wasn't expecting it either at all. But
it usually takes a day to have the rankings updated, and even the men's race is updated with Kim Little taking his points, despite the fact that he didn't have a heart rate monitor on today, and he's breaking the 100 points barrier already with 101 in front of Soren Bay with 90, and Dempster, who was fourth today, who moved on third in the rankings with 85 points.
So the men's currently, like you're saying there, Kim, Soren, Gavin, watch out for him. Looks like super motivated from BRT. They're sitting in third place now. If we look at his rank, they're 17 on average. He's got some of the best ranking points there amongst the riders. Very consistent here. Jurgens Templar there with some of the highest ranking, but only 2 events. As you can see, Gavin with the highest ranking out of those who have done 5 races, actually. So watch out for Dempster there as he makes his way to the top here. 85 points, as you were just saying. So Kim Little there still in first place with 6 races. Soren Bay, second place, also with 6 races. But Gavin Dempster being very consistent on these quick courses here. So Rachel Elliott there still leading. Zeke Kreider, Fred 76. What are you seeing there? Any standouts names? I'm seeing Germany coming on like a freight train. That's what I'm seeing.
I'm not so much called by names, but what we have to remember is that starting next week, we are going to see some of the riders coming to their 7th ranked event. And it's the best 7 races that we count. And starting next week, we are going to see the riders coming at the top of their points. And that's when the rankings are going to start to happen. Because, Kim Little is going to most likely do his 7th event next week. And it can basically take the whole rest off and do something else. As if he takes if he says, I'm good with 115 points overall, and if he thinks like nobody's going to do better than that, or not 10 riders will do better than 115 points, he can just rest off and just do the rest of the races for fun, and maybe focus on the other theories. And same goes for Soren Bay, and Tobias Muller is as 6 as well. But Muller with 6 races is going to try to improve his score because he's currently 12th in the rankings, and he will have to keep improving. But only the best 7 of his races will count. And starting next week and the week after that, we are going to see the rankings move around a little bit more, as it's going to be gathering around that 100 mark, maybe not 100 but 80 or 100 for the first 10 riders.
So things are going to start changing up next week when it comes to the best of situation. That's where the best of races are going to really start coming into practice here at that point. Now, we have a question. We're going to watch the women. We did see the women's finish, actually. Was unable to get back any further in the peloton before I left the group, actually. I do believe we have a replay, though, of the women's finish here. No, it did not come through for some odd reason. All right, well, that's interesting. But let me see if I can grab... I was recording it, but for some reason, it did not come through for us today. So... but we did have on the replay, you can see If you go to the VOD over at our YouTube or over at our Twitch channel, you will be able to catch the women's finish as well as all of the coverage of their race, actually. So back in with the results for them, though, as we could see in that sprint finish, actually, we actually did not cover exactly what ended up happening in the finish, though, for the top 10 today in the women's race here. It looks like Patricia Engerman did walk away with that late attack, 13 seconds actually over Kristen Falk. Kristen took second place, and then it looks like Cassie Baldy there for third place on the day with that solid chase all day long from Cassie. She really, put in a huge effort there to hold off that pack. Actually, she had a hard chasing pack all day long and was able to put in a solid effort and able to hold them off there. So Z Kreider with that sprint, though, from the pack, she was with the peloton and attacked very early with that arrow power up, and Z was able to take fourth place. Kirsten Pohl there for fifth, Siv Engel for sixth. Looks like Kirsty Hole for seventh place from Vision Cycling there. Carrie Koneberg riding for Vixen with the Mohawk out there in eighth place. Kaz Jen for KRT in ninth, and Anya Ludendorff in 10th place. All riders within that top 10 actually or so for the overalls there. Vanderbij followed up by Helena Engvist, will be Wilhelmine Prinz, Linda Gray, Hild Aspermine, then C. Scott, and then it will be Katie Jane from the KRT team. Fred 76 off the back from Team TFC, actually in the top spots in the overall for the series, but her rank is going to fall from that result. She's going to have to kick it into the front of the group, so she's looking for a top spot in the top 10 at the end of the series. Claire Reed there, followed by Hannah Anderson. That is your top 20 in the women's field. So next up, we've got the NA crit later tonight on the same course. The racing is a little different, though, I think, in the NA. I mean, what's the, is that, make sure to tune in for that, everybody. We're going to be here live for that later today. Make sure to hit that follow button over our Twitch channel. But real quick, as a preview to the NA series, it's been, I think, a little more animated, but I think it might be because there's maybe less riders, or why do you think that is? That it's just, or maybe just a different riding style?
Well, I don't know if it's so much the riding style as the number of riders. Like, you have almost 200 riders at the start of the Europe race, and maybe half as much in the North American races. Plus, there's East and West in the North American, so the peloton is split there as well. But the thing with the North American is that a couple of teams are starting to emerge. I mean, there's been ODZ for a very long time dominating the field, and Team Experimental as well. But now the Team Draft is starting to take shape as well, and it gives some very interesting races. And there's one thing that doesn't change, though, from the European race, is that you're still wrong about your predictions. But that's just how it goes.
No curse. There's no caster's curse. No, it doesn't exist. Does not exist. So we're looking forward to that. Casey Shum, Katrina Weiss, current series leaders in the East. Scotty Weiss, Jennifer Reel out there as well, defending in the West for the North American. So make sure to tune in with that. We'll be here later tonight for those races as well. Casey Shum, Justin Purificati, Adam Zimmerman. That's your top three in the NA. In the men's, in the women's, there we are looking Katrina Weiss, Laura Fadeo, and Caitlin Patterson for the East as well. So we'll be covering those races and be watching out for those racers later tonight. But this has been the European E-Crit presented by Tacx. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Quentin, thanks a lot for joining us here today for the European edition. And, excited to see how things turn out for next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I look forward to next week, but also to the next race in a couple of hours as well. So a lot of exciting riding to come still.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thanks a lot, Quentin. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm Nathan Garrett coming at you from Zwift Community Live. Quentin out of France up there, and we will see you in just a couple hours for the NA Crit presented by Cyclops. But today's here with the European Crit presented by Tacx. So let's see what the Neo is all about as we say, right on.